All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Topwater Live, Season 3, Episode 8. With me today, I have Steve Kruger. Pronounce his name, right? No screw up on names. Over here, I got Matt, Dan, and then Chad. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So Steve Kruger is the world's most okayest angler.
Thanks for having us back again. Yeah,
we're on a little bit of our skeleton crew. So we had our some COVID jumping around with our crew, so we've got our skeleton crew tonight. So keep those guys in your thoughts and prayers, and please bear with us for any of the issues that we have going on tonight. So Matt Long, one of our anglers over on the Lakeshore Series and the Route Series, and I consider him like the MacGyver of kayak fishing. Dan with 2K Jigs, thanks for joining us. So we are going to talk some 2K jigs and a little bit of fishing, and you joined us, I think, back in Season 1 at our fancy studio.
That was Season 1?
Yeah, that was Season 1. It was like two years ago.
Yeah.
Coming back now at our not as fancy studio here at Ted's Pizza.
Smells better here. It smells a lot better here in my studio, for sure.
And then over here, Chad, a little bit of everything that you do. So you obviously you fish, but you're a first responder and got family, and then you do something with the Pistons as well.
Yep.
So we'll hear a little bit about that later today. So and then we got Rich Offner coming on talking a little bit of kayak fishing over in Canada. So we're going to play our little intro, and then we will be right back. Thanks for joining us. All right, welcome back, everybody. Again, this is Topwater Live, episode number 8 of Season 3, and kind of start going through my notes here. Yeah, just welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Like I said, we're a little bit of the skeleton crew tonight, so if I have to pop out and fix a couple things, I apologize, but Steve has said I'm an awesome host and has volunteered to be assistant host tonight. So if we have awkward silence that needs to be taken care of, he's volunteered to do that. So, but yeah, let's get started tonight talking a little bit of 2K jigs. So we'll just jump right into it. Dan, 2K jigs, welcome. Thanks for joining us again.
Glad to be here.
Tell us a little bit about just kind of a brief history of 2K jigs. Give us a little bit of the background.
Well, this year's actually 10 years in business. We started back in 11, and just a tournament angler that used and bought too many jigs, you know, and got into it myself, started building them, and started building them well, and then just kind of grew from that, really. Turned into like a real deal pretty fast, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are definitely all over the place now. So.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success in 10 years for sure. So.
Yeah, and I can kind of like testimonial to that because I feel like there are a lot of guys. I mean, I've made jigs. I think, you know, most people that seriously fish at some point have tried to make them, and I've made them, and it's fun, but like there isn't a lot of people that I would say that make them well, you know. And
yeah, it's just one of those things that anybody can really do, you know, but it's one of those things that not everybody can do for a living, you know.
Sure, yeah.
And the tackle industry, for starters, you know, I mean, how many companies start and fail, and we're blessed to still be here. I mean, I could probably count 1,000 companies that have started during the time I've been doing this that are no longer here, you know.
Oh, so, yeah, I can imagine.
Just blessed, and, you know, keep being innovative and keep working hard, and got a good crew behind me, and, you know.
You guys are out of Sparta, Michigan, which is where I live, so just down the road.
Yeah, I used to have a nice little place down there in town, paying a bunch of money in rent, and then got a new place to live, and got a big old pole barn up there for me. So.
Well, you don't have a far commute, though.
Yeah, that's right. Manufacturing right at home. Got to walk about 30 steps to get there, but yeah, it's worked out well. It allows us to do a lot more things, obviously.
Sure.
The worst part about it is I'm always at work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never not at work.
Yeah.
Just 30 steps away from going back to it. So it's got its ups and its downs.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to separate that because I've worked from home for forever now, and it's
Yeah.
like it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'll go out and work later or whatever. and
Right.
it just
Well, it's like when you first start the business, and it's probably like this with everything. Everybody wants it to look so glorious. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody wants to put this show on that, and I'm paying thousands of dollars in rent a
Yep.
month just to say I have a place.
Yeah.
Like, and I've done a lot of stupid things. That's one of them. You know, but you do a lot of stupid things when you run a business. You know,
Right.
you just got to learn from them and. We're probably not as flashy as we used to be back in the day, but we're saving a lot of money, not acting like we're something we're not, So,
do you still have the fancy logoed up truck?
actually, I sold that to one of my guys. Bought a new truck this year, and I don't have a logo on it.
Well, that's like us. I mean, we had our studio and it was our office, but then COVID came along, and it's like we're
Yeah.
spending all this money on this fancy office, and we used it more as a studio, and it's
Right.
like that doesn't make any sense. And so now we're out of an old pizza shop, but
Yeah, so we don't do
It
much
does the
show
job.
anymore. That's right. We don't do the show anymore. Just look at the Jig. That's our show. Let the Jigs do the talking,
yep, that's fair enough. We're gonna do a little bit of that here in a little bit. So
Yeah. But
So-
yeah, 10 years this year. And, I started out, like I said, just making these for myself and some friends. And then I got this bright idea. I'm going to be the biggest and the baddest jig in the world and take down the kings. And I fought that battle for a while. And it wasn't a very smart battle. Just trying to find my niche, really.
Sure.
We got into Dick's Sporting Goods, Field and Stream, thousands upon thousands of retailers, and all over the country, and still not making money.
Yeah.
Still not selling a ton of jigs, still not making money, and not really doing what I wanted to do, and finally I was able to open up the website, which has really opened up a lot of things for us. Before that, when you're doing the wholesale stuff, they don't want you to sell direct, right?
yeah,
They want you to go to them, so that kind of put a damper on it. Finally, I said enough's enough and started going direct, and now I'm doing what I really love to do, which is create constant colorways. You're not going to find a jig that's sold in more colors than what I make.
yeah,
And they're not. They all have my little twist on them.
Sure.
Like a PB&J isn't a PB&J. I got like 10 of them
yeah.
with all a little bit of twist. And designing jigs and making colors. That's what I want to do. And that I'm selling a quarter of what I used to sell, doing what I love, making more money than I used to.
Nice,
So
that's awesome.
The 10 years has kind of gone roller coaster ride, but I'm in a real nice place, right now. But we'll see. We're going to keep growing, and who knows? Maybe it'll change in another 10 years, and
Yeah.
I'll be back into Dick's Sporting Goods. Who knows? But right now it's going real well. So
I feel like that's just one of those things is like as you expand any type of business, like there's that sweet spot you got to find because there's another sweet spot way down the road, but like you got to spend a lot of money and a lot of time and have a lot of staff to get there, and there's that middle ground where you can find yourself in like hurting real quick.
yeah, well, you got a lot of companies out there that, and you're going to know who I'm talking about, or off the top of your head it'll get like 5 come to your mind, that start up, throw a bunch of money at marketing, get a bunch of pros, sponsor a Bassmaster Series, just throw money. Every YouTuber in the world's getting free baits. Just throw money at it. 3 years later, they're out of business.
Yeah.
Because it's just not, it's hard to do it, and the best way to do it is to build something that's top notch, find a group of people that love it, cater to them, build small. We've never hired a pro. I've been doing it for 10 years, so full time, I don't have another job. This is my deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just finding the right people and doing what they like and small, keep building, That's the journey we've been on for 10 years. A couple years into it, I bought a manufacturing company that used to pour my lead, so I started manufacturing for other companies.
Mm-hmm.
I still do that a little bit, not as much. Focus most of my time on 2K, but that's basically the wrap up of 10 years of jig building. I'm like a crazy man.
And you put a lot of like when it comes to all these jigs and stuff like that, you put a lot of time into, it's not just assembling, I mean, you put a lot of time into testing them and
Oh yeah, I have a lot of guys that have been with me throughout the 10 years. I've got 30 or 40 guys that have been with me the whole time. We take on a few new guys every year. We really take the whole pro staff deal pretty serious. We don't just give it out to anybody. It's super hard to get on, super easy to get booted.
Sure.
At will employee, right? You quit when you want, I'm going to fire you when I want to fire you, right? And most of the time you don't even know, I just cut you off. Because if you cared, you would have done something and don't have to worry about it, you know? But, and I trust these guys with everything.
Yeah.
Like, I send out new product. I've had staffers create some of the best selling products that I have, you know? I used to fish a bunch of tournaments back in the day. I'd fish 75 tournaments, every circuit in West Michigan, like a madman, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't fished a tournament in 2 years. I'll get out on the lake once in a great while. But I have the best hammers, especially in West Michigan, you know, and throughout the Midwest, that I don't need to fish anymore, you know? I fish for fun now. I don't fish to, you know, I'll go out and test a bait here and there. I got some of my new baits out this fall. But when you have a team like that, you know, of proven success, you know, and if this guy says this bait's gonna catch him, then people listen, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't pay anybody, you know. Some people get free stuff. Some people are just getting a discount. A lot of these guys are doing it because they love the company, they love what we stand for, and it puts money in their pocket, right?
Sure.
So it's real nice when you make a bait that everyone falls in love with.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time we did that was probably the deposit swim jig. You know, before that, nobody's ever seen a flat-headed swim jig. I mean, it looks like a fish. No one's done it. We do it. Now everybody does it. You know, and there's been a few things like that throughout the past 10 years that we've changed the game. Little town, little company.
Yeah.
No one's ever heard of a $6 jig, right? They're like $3.50 when I started.
Yeah.
We started at $2.50 more than everybody.
Yeah.
You'd be hard pressed not to find a $6 jig in everyone's lineup.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so I'll call this the deposit, and the other company's calling something the paycheck, right? Like a year later. So it's cool that it's cool that a small town, small company.
Yeah.
You know, in Sparta, Michigan.
Yeah.
You know, it's changed a little bit, but it's been a heck of a 10 years for sure, and I've had a lot of help on the way there. So, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So next question: what's new for this year? What's new that's coming out?
Oh, well, since your audience has seen me, there's been a lot, but I brought a few things. We come out with this. What do you want it over here?
Sure, right in the middle there. Look at that.
We came out with that the middle of last summer, and this is another bait that was designed by a West Michigan. I'm gonna call him a pro. He's not a pro, obviously. He's a painter, but the dude wins a lot of money in West Michigan. Dave Hooker. I mean, this guy just cleans up, right? Him and Kyle Boris loving this jig, and we kind of designed it. It's a Ned Jig, obviously. Here it is without the skirt. We call it the Power Ned. It's got a 3/0 Gami heavy hook in it. We got it in the weedless and non-weedless. The bait keeper on it, you see a lot of Neds with a wire keeper, right, or a screw keeper. Hard to get those Z-Man elastic plastics on. That's the best bait keeper you can find for that type of plastic. Pushes on, holds, tested, and that's why we went with it, right? The head itself, super flat, hard edges, hits the bottom, stays on the bottom all the time. And what Dave has noticed when he was testing this is it makes a different type of frequency when it hits the bottom than a normal Ned would make. Because of how flat it is and how sharp those edges are. It's just been a real popular bait for us. We sell it in, like I said, a bunch of different styles. That's the Power Ned Candy. You get the weedless, non-weedless, and then we make a mop that obviously has a little more
longer
rubber to it. But it's just obviously everybody knows the Ned's one of those deals that just anyone can catch a fish on, right?
What weights do you sell that in?
So the power Ned's in quarter, 3/8, and half. And what we want to do is we want to create a Ned. I don't use a spinning rod, right?
Yeah.
I just don't do it. I hate it. I'm not comfortable. I don't like it. We want to make a Ned head that you could throw a bait, use it with a bait caster.
So it's heavier than a traditional Ned. I mean, these are that's the power
Like
Ned.
the quarter ounce would be like the top of a normal Ned weight, right? So it's all the way up to half. So we did that for a few reasons. One, you can throw a bait caster on it. Two, when you're fishing bedded fish, it stays in the bed a lot longer. They can't blow it out. And three, current is huge with it. So if you're fishing in the Detroit River, you're fishing in a Muskegon Channel,
get to the
you can hold it down at the bottom without the current pushing it. So, and I mean, I said it 1, 2, 3, but current might be the best part about it, right? Sure. The hook obviously is phenomenal, but that's been like I think it was like a year ago, July. So about a year and a half we came out with that.
Yep.
It's got 3D eyes, hand painted. The skirts are made of reptile living rubber, 100% copper tied. Everything's done in house. Expensive, like they are, but you're not going to find anything better than that. Like, be hard pressed to do it, right? And we still have like the regular Neds, 10th, 6th, 5th.
Right.
And we offer it with those skirts and whatnot. But we've had that for, I mean, I would be willing to say we're probably the first company to ever tie a skirt on a Ned and sell it like we sell it. Like, obviously people have done it in their house or whatever, but sell it like we sell. We're probably the first people to do that. So we've had that Ned out for a long time. But that's been, it's never going to beat the deposit swim jig. It's never going to beat our Dock Monkey flipping jig. But man, that power Ned is right up there. And I try to tell people, like, the whole Ned deal, like, you remember when the Cinco first came out? And it was nuts, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's what the Ned's like.
Yeah.
And obviously, the Ned's never going to go away. It'll slow down in the popularity like the Cinco did, but everybody still throws it, right? That's how the Ned's going to be. It's like once in it, seems like every 10 years something like that comes out where it's like a staple now, right? Because I held off on making a Ned for a while.
I mean, it's kind of like the bladed jig of,
Right.
I mean, no one,
Yeah, bladed jig's one of them, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's just, but the power Ned's been awesome, and my favorite thing to do with it is put one of those little crawfish on it, and pitch it by docks and stuff like that. But when we're in a aquarium tank test and we're doing the test with it or whatnot, man, it just, the way it falls, the way it lands, everything about it, real happy with that bait. And guys have been buying them and catching them with it. So,
What kind of colors do you have with them? The skirts?
The skirt colors, so we offer 12, I think, like 4 different ranges of green pumpkin, like 4 different black ones, 4 brown ones. The one here is Pumpkin Perfect. That's a pumpkin living rubber with a lime and an orange print. This one here is just Pumpkin Black. And then that's a crawdad there.
That orange. That's nice.
This is called Hookerfish, named after Dave Hooker, but that's a color from our deposit.
And that's one of your smaller.
That's the quarter, right? Yep. And that's PB&J
and
and a PB&J stripe and a mop. And
So Chris Blair that's watching is, what is the #1 selling weight for the power Ned? Yeah.
skirted 3/8, unskirted quarter.
Okay.
We sell a ton of half northern Michigan
Yep.
in Erie.
Okay.
A ton of half. We still sell a lot of half in West Michigan, but those are definitely the #1s. And I look at every order. I do every order myself, and I can kind of this guy knows what he's doing by what he's ordering, right? And you see the guys. We have guys that win a lot, Elite Series, top guys ordering from our website, and they're ordering this stuff here. And the half is something that not a lot of companies offer, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they're ordering it because it's so awesome or because they just can't get anywhere else, right?
Well, even even
know.
3/8 is heavy. I mean, because I got some of these last year, and I'm still kind of learning my way through them. And it's just different when you're used to throwing 1/16 or 1/10, and you're
Right. I'm just not a finesse fisherman. I'm just at all. I hate it. right? But I put that on there, and I can get that same presentation with a bait caster. Put 10-pound line on it, flip out that 3/8, a little TRD or a little crawl or whatever,
Yep.
and I mean, you can put the weight to it. But you can still use it with spinning rod. A lot of guys use it with spinning rod.
Yep.
It's not, the hook's not so crazy that you can't, get a good hook set with a spinning rod.
Sure.
But the weight and the hook and the setup allows the guy to use a bait caster if he's more comfortable doing that. That's why we call it the power Ned.
Sure.
But it's been a very popular deal for us.
Nice. One of the things you said is you talked about living rubber. I know on your website
Yeah.
I've ordered some of the reptile rubber. Tell us about what that means, because
So living rubber is the base. This material, right? This material here is all living rubber. Now, this is called reptile rubber because it's got print on it.
okay.
So that's just what we come up with. The name for this, we call it reptile rubber with a print. I don't have anything here without the print, I don't think. I'm a huge fan of the reptile rubber. Just because back in the day when they had the flat rubber, right, you had brown and black. You couldn't do anything with it. They come out with living rubber, and you have like 2 shades of green, a brown, and a black. Still hard to come up with colors, right? Like, it's hard to do that. That's an all silicone skirt. It's hard to do that with rubber, right? It's hard to get those colors blended. And with the reptile rubber, it allows you to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can add the oranges and the greens to make the reptile rubber. But the reptile is just the print on that living rubber. And I'm a big fan of living rubber. Makes it a bigger body, floats better, moves better. I don't throw a jig unless it has rubber on it. This is the first year we've come out doing a hand-tied silicone line, just because sometimes I guess you need a little smaller presentation, right? Not for me. I'd rather not catch fish, right? like that's not my type of deal. I just do the rubber deal. And if you blend it with a reptile, you blend it with a silicone, you can get the colors that you want. And the reason you don't see it a lot is because it's hard. Like, you can't buy a manufactured living rubber skirt. You have to cut it off a spool, make the skirt, tie it with something, right? Mm-hmm. Cut it. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Sure.
That's why you don't see it. People are buying manufactured push-on skirts from overseas,
Yep.
putting them on their jigs, selling for $6. I could do like 100 of those. Okay, 50 of those. In the time it takes me to tie one jig, right?
Yeah.
So you grab a jig, push it on, push it on. If you could do that with living rubber, I don't think there would be a company out there that doesn't have a living rubber skirt. Like, I'm talking big companies, Strike King,
Yeah.
blah, 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 right? Because it's awesome. It's the best, but it's a lot of work.
Sure.
It takes a lot of work, and you can't make any money off a lot of work, right? So we'd rather just make awesome stuff and
Yep. Makes sense.
work it, but
Do you offer, one thing is you talk to some people and they would love this skirt,
yep.
but they want a different color of the head. Do you offer this skirt with just this head, or would you offer that skirt with a different color, green, or or an orange head, or a something? If somebody wanted something
Right.
a little different, right?
So 2K jig stands for custom kicker jigs, right?
Okay.
So when I first started, that's what we were talking about. Like, all I wanted to do was just like make awesome stuff. Mm-hmm. And I got away with that with the whole manufacturing stuff like that. Now that I'm back doing direct to consumer, that's the kind of stuff I love doing.
Okay.
Now, obviously, you're not going to get on my website and find it exactly what you want, but it's an email.
But if they shoot you a message,
it's an
and
email.
say-
It's a message like, "Hey, can I get that half-ounce power Ned?
Yeah.
In the pumpkin perfect, but I want an orange head, with some green pumpkin splattered on there, a little orange flash."
So you can do
whatever.
that too. You can get that custom.
can do
You can
any-
just splatter that
anything.
with orange.
Yeah, I do anything.
Yep, that's
We
great.
do a lot of, we call it spotlights. I do a spotlight every week where I'll custom paint a jig, make a custom skirt for it. So, I mean, there's nothing that you could want that I probably haven't done.
Great.
So that option's definitely there. Obviously, it's a lot faster to order what's on the site, but I mean, we're only talking a few extra days, right,
Yep.
to make it exactly how you want it. But yeah, that's the Power Ned. I wanted to show these here off too, if I could. And we showed like I said, the Power Ned really isn't new for this year, but new for your customers. This here is the Water Wolf. It's an Arky style head, obviously. That's not shocking that, oh wow, this dude made an Arky head. It's literally taken me 10 years, no lie. It's taken me 10 years to put an Arky head in my catalog because everybody's got an Arky head, right? But I told my guys, I'm like, all right, it's been 10 years. I'll make you an Arky. This is, man, a really nice Arky. And obviously, it's an Arky head. So I'm not going to oversell it, right? Arky heads are great jigs, period.
Versatile,
Skip, cover structure, every Arky head can do that. We got a 5/0 Gamakatsu hook in that bad boy and a screw lock keeper. I love that, right? Sometimes guys are like, man, the screw lock's so hard, takes so much time to get on there. Nonsense. It takes like 2 seconds longer, and it'll hold your bait on there forever. Especially if you're skipping, if you're throwing through structure, the pinchers get bit off right before the bait slides down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can.
So that makes that Arky head special with that screw lock in it, with a really good hook, and like I said, all the copper tied living rubber silicone blends. That's our Reptile line up there. But yeah, these are a few new colors. If you guys get on the website, you can check them out. This summer we come out with 6 new Reptile colors. That's our biggest colorway now. I think we have 24 styles in that Reptile line. That Molten Craw in the middle, this has been a really big seller. And then Olive Craw, which we always sold a pumpkin watermelon jig, and that's been our top color. And we did pumpkin green pumpkin, which seems stupid, right? Why didn't I do that a long time ago? Like I said, I'm stubborn, right? So finally come out with a green pumpkin jig. But check those out. And then, like we talked in the past, I finally did a silicone hand-tied line. And these are all the Dock Monkeys. This is our second most popular jig. Called the Dock Monkey because you can skip it a quarter mile.
So Chris Blair jumped on here, and he's asking, is there any truth to the living rubber is best in cold water versus warm summer water? I've always been under the impression standard silicone skirts perform better in warmer water. Rubber is the ticket for cold water conditions.
So I think a lot of that talk about summer water and cold water kind of start with that rubber anyways. Kind of started back in the day when they had the flat rubber. Not so much with the living rubber. This is, I'm not going to say one or the other. Who am I to say which is better, right? I'm going to tell you from my personal experience and everybody that I've ever talked to, that's never played a fact for them. I've caught just as many fish in cold water as I have in warm water with rubber. What I'll say is, if you're looking for more action, that's the ticket. Period. I mean, I don't have to sell you on it. You can take a silicone skirt and a living in one of my jigs, dump them in a bucket of water, and in 3 seconds you agree with me, right? I think that a lot plays back to the flat rubber back in the day, and that's kind of, Bill Dance would say that, right? He'd be on TV, rubber in the winter, silicone in the summer. This isn't flat rubber. This is living rubber. It's smaller, more buoyant, and moves easier without current, right? So I think it's just something. Who asked that question?
Chris Blair.
I would think Chris is going to have to try it out for himself,
Sure.
and see what he thinks. But me personally, I don't think that ever even crosses my mind what the water temperature is and what skirt I'm going to use.
Sure. All right, so I got a couple more quick questions to run by you. These should be some pretty softball ones, but if somebody wants to get 2K jigs, where should they go to do that?
2kjigs.com. That's the best place.
Easy enough.
Easy enough. Anything over 75 is free shipping. We got a gift card sale going on right now. Buy a $50 gift card, get $10 one. $250 gift card, get a $75 one, or a $500 gift card, get a $200 gift card free. All the codes and stuff are up on the gift card collection on the website. If you're looking for a retail place in Michigan, Jay Sporting Goods, they carry our entire line. Outdoorsman in Grand Rapids carries our entire line. I think those are the two biggest. A lot of the mom and pops on the east side carry a lot of our tube jigs, and a handful of guys in Ohio. What's that big one in Ohio? I can't think of it. Fisherman Central? Does that sound right?
I don't know. I've not been to Ohio very often.
I think it's Fisherman Central. They're a big one. They carry it. A little brain fart there, but 2K Jig's the best place to go.
Sure. And then you mentioned that you guys are going to be at some shows coming up.
Yeah, so we are jamming right now, manufacturing. We got, let's see, we got Cincinnati, the 5th or 6th, whatever that weekend is, 7th, 8th. We go from there to Kansas City, Missouri on the 15th, 16th, and then Columbus first weekend in February. And then we might be doing the GR show in March. I'm not 100% on that yet, but we'll definitely be at those 3. We're going to be doing 2 booths. I'm going to have a booth set up. We call it the Ned Quarters. Be power Neds and regular Neds and tackle kits. And we'll be selling $55, $60 values for $40 in little tackle kits. And then we'll have another booth set up with the rest of our jigs and our retail packaging on basically 2 separate sides of the show. So, and that's going to be for all 3 of the shows. So we'll have 2 booths. Come say hi to us and both of them. Right.
Sweet. And then pretty quickly here, but what's new with you? What's going on in your life?
Oh man, what's going on with me? Let's see. It was a decent hunting season, right? Got a couple doe and an 8-pointer.
Nice.
My daughter's playing high school basketball for Sparta.
Yep, I've seen you post about that quite often. So
yeah.
Their season got shut down for a whole year or something.
Last year was rough, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, last year was real bad. This year, they're back at it. Other daughter's playing volleyball, and I got a 7-year-old that is waiting to play basketball. So that's basically it. Work, cook. I got a new smoker, got the Masterbuilt 1080. Don't even get started on that, right? Been smoking all summer. Watch the kids, cook. That's about it.
I'm smoking some wings for a work party for tomorrow, so when I go home tonight,
Ooh, nice.
throwing 10 pounds in the
There you
smoker
go.
to
There you
take
go.
them to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, big fan of the cooking over here, obviously. So.
Nice.
All right, well, we have a caller coming on, Rich Offner, so I'm going to get that squared away. In the meantime, Steve has volunteered to occupy however many minutes are needed
I think
while I fix these things.
It was like 6
you tried to
minutes.
talk me into like 10 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes to tell about something he's got going on with water dogs. So I will let him do that, and I'm going to go fix this.
Well, I posted today on Facebook that I would like to head down to Water Dog this weekend on Sunday. Steve Crooks, the owner of Water Dog Outfitters, is doing a Pack the Yak food drive to try to get as much food as they can get, non-perishable food items for a local food pantry in the Montague area. Mm-hmm. Last year they brought 600 pounds of food, and I think his goal was to reach over 1,000 this year. So I'm really a fan of what Steve does, how he runs his business, how he presents himself and gives back to the community. They're doing a customer appreciation giveaway this year and giving away an e-bike. They've given away kayaks. He gives back. He gives back to a lot of the Topwater stuff, MKT, Elite. I mean, he's involved in everything we do. And I think it'd be great for us as a group and people to give back and help him. So you can get a hold of me on Facebook. You can PayPal me, send me money, and I'll go do the shopping if it makes it easier for you. If you're near Grand Rapids, Muskegon, I could probably even meet up with you. I'll meet up with you and pick up your food from you, or whatever. You can drop it off to me.
They can get in the car and drive to our studio right now.
They could bring it here right now. I'll be here.
World's most
I'll be here
okayest
for a little
hangout.
bit.
Live in person.
We have a few days. It was kind of late notice, but it'd be nice to fill my little escape with food and bring it down and give it to Steve on Sunday.
Cool.
So
Well, thanks for doing that. Thanks, of course, Steve, for all the stuff that he does.
What
And,
times is he doing that? Is there a start and stop time for that?
he's open. I have to look. I know he's going to be there this weekend, Saturday and Sunday till I think he said till 2 on Saturday. He put me on the spot with a good question there.
You're supposed to ask questions.
Right. He'll be there. He'll be there until 2 p.m. on Saturday, and he'll be there 11 to 5 on Sunday.
Okay.
So I'm gonna head down there Sunday. I'm gonna give it an extra day and head down there Sunday, middle of that time frame, and give him the food then.
Chris Culbertson said he's on his way, so you're gonna have to wait a couple hours. So we'll close up shop, but you just you just hang out here.
I've only got one more, so.
All right, we got Mr. Offner on the line. We'll see if he can hear. I think he can hear us. Rich, you there?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I can hear you too.
Can you hear
This worked. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Half the time this does not work. So, what's going on with you?
Not much. Yourself?
Oh, not too much. Doing the podcast thing, and supposedly we've got some storms
sir.
coming tonight. So hoping we don't get blown away by those. But other than that,
tie everything down.
enjoying the 60 degrees we have for a couple days here. So,
Yes, very warm out there.
so did you get out and do some fishing this year?
I just got back from Panama.
Oh, nice.
I was fishing at Los Buzos. We got back a week ago Sunday, and it was a good time.
Yeah, I'm kind of pissed at you now. I don't really want to talk to you anymore.
Yeah, watching what they're catching this week is, kind of make me want to go back already.
Yeah, I can imagine.
See, he was catching some amazing fish.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were, but
Yeah, we're wondering what you caught down there.
Let's see. I ticked off 8 species, 7 of them out of the kayak. But my most exciting catches, we did 4 days in the kayak and we 1 day out in the Panga, which is the boat that they go out in. It's a support kayaks. And I threw a popper, which the best way to explain it for us bass guys is it's like a not a jitterbug, but a hula popper, 6 inches long. And I threw it out the first time, and the fourth time I popped it. And when you pop it, it splashes about 2-3 feet high. And I watched a 20-pound tuna just engulf it. and that was pretty exciting. And then a few minutes later, I was throwing it again, and I watched a nice mahi grab it, come right across, and I've got a picture of that up on my timeline. It was a beautiful picture. Adam Fisk, our guide, he does a great job down there, and I mean he is so positive, and it's very personal. I mean, there's only a few people, 9 or 10. There was 9 of us, and there was more people supporting us than I think there was fishing. So
Nice.
I highly recommend. It's an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So, a lot more fun than the fishing we have going on here right now. So.
Well, I tell you, I mean, I've been running out of time. The fact that I was gone, it's tough for me to get over there. But I still feel like sneaking across over to Grand Rapids, and we used to make an annual trip about this time of the year to go come for some steelhead right on the Grand River.
Uh-huh. Well, I think you can cross the border now, can't you?
I can, but it's right now we're limited to 72 hours. I don't know if that's going to change. Both our federal government and provincial government came on the radio today, and we got the Omicron going pretty crazy right now. The cases are going up, and I'm sure Canada's a lot more strict with everything than that in Michigan.
Yeah, just a little bit. We went to visit some family this year, and we had to get the vaccine and get proof of the test and all that stuff before they'd let us over. But at least we finally got to do that.
I needed to get tested twice coming home because we flew out of Detroit. We was tested in Panama before we flew into Miami, our connection, and then when we landed in Detroit, I had to get another test before I could cross into Canada. So it was a little expensive.
Yeah, I bet you probably spent as much time testing and all that than you did on the vacation, it sounds like.
Yeah. But it was worth it, 100%.
Did you fish any tournaments over there this year?
Nope.
No.
That was my first time. That was my first time crossing out of Canada since March 16th, 2020, when I came back from a couple boss events.
Yeah, I remember
North
that.
Carolina
I remember you
and
posting about
Alabama.
that.
Well, that was the last. That's the last time I was there.
Nice. Did you fish the trail over there, the Ontario Trail, or?
Yes, I've been fishing the OKBT. Plus, they started the Ontario Kayak Bass Trail. Ontario Kayak Bass Masters
Yep.
Trail. Also, we have going on over here, so it's kept me busy.
Sure.
No lack of fishing.
Yep. All right. So tell us about this Ontario League Series that you're wanting to get started here.
Well, you guys have perfected it over the last couple. It's 2 years you've already got under your belt. Is that correct?
2, 3, 3 now.
say three.
Three. Yeah.
3 years.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you guys have done a great job, and when you posted you're looking to expand it, I thought I'd jump on it because our area here is finally, there's a lot more guys fishing out of a kayak out of Essex County, Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent, and I think it's time. But just like the golf leagues, which I look at your Topwater league, it's time to do it out of a kayak, and I think we can support it here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you said you kind of went out and polled the audience, and sounded like there was some pretty good support for it. So.
Yeah, we got guys from as far as London, Ontario, which is about an hour and a half down the road, and in Sarnia, which is about an hour to hour and a half away. So there's a lot of interest.
Nice. So officially, I believe this was it Southwest Ontario? Is that the name that we decided on?
Yeah, we were going to call it Southwest Ontario League, which covers Southwest. Basically, down here, we're considered the asshole of Ontario. Look on the map, and you'll see why we call it that. And they treat us like that too.
Fair enough. All right, so let's run through this schedule. I don't think it'll take too long because there's a little bit. It looks like you're doing a couple places you're hitting a couple times. But we'll walk through it and then tell us a little bit why you chose those locations and a little bit about it. So, number one.
I've got it up here.
Okay, well, I'll let you take it away then.
All right. Except we need the glasses again. All right. So, June 28th, Tuesday, is the, as you know, our MNR is really, they're kind of, I consider them a little out to lunch, but they don't let us fish for bass until the 4th Saturday in June.
Yep.
And that's when our season opens. And this year, the OKBT, the Ontario Kayak Bass Trail, is coming back on Lake St. Clair. So we have a tournament on the Canadian side of Lake St. Clair on a Saturday. So our first event will be Tuesday, June 28th. We will be launching from Stop 26. And for those of you that have fished over here, that is just about a half mile, 3/4 of a mile east of the Detroit River. Not even. It's right at the mouth of the Detroit River. It's a very popular spot at this time of the year. There's a fair amount of current, but there's a lot of guys that have paddled it there, and there is some slack water that you can fish in because the bass are still pretty shallow at that time of the year. It's a great time of the year to fish that area. So and we may use 2 launches. There's another launch a couple of 100 yards down, like Kayak Cove, in case there's too many people. We'll try and launch everybody from Stop 26. And then the following Tuesday is July 5th. We'll be at Manning Road. Manning Road is a very popular spot also at this time of the year. The first 2 weeks of July, you can still catch bass pretty good in close. And Manning Road is a good spot. The only issue is you got lots of parking, lots of room for all kinds of people to launch from, but it's a bit of a hike. Bring your wheels and be ready to hike your kayak it's maybe 100 yards to bring it to the water. And then on Monday, July 11th, we kind of mix it up a little bit because I think I tried to bring it on Mondays when there's a tournament in Ontario in the series.
Sure.
So some guys like myself, we leave pretty early and then pre-fish all week. So Monday, we go to Rondo Bay. It's about an hour from Windsor, and it's just off of Lake Erie. It's also a good spot. We got largemouth and smallmouth, but mostly largemouth bass. And the pike will still be biting pretty good then too. And then as we get into the summer and the fish go kind of deep, we use the Bell River launch, July 19th. The fishing will be a little tougher. Bell River is about 20-30 minutes from Windsor. Again, plenty of parking, easy to get everybody out on the water. From there, we go to Mitchell's Bay, July 26th. Again, it's mostly largemouth, and any of these areas, if there's some really high winds, we may change to a place where it's not as windy,
Sure.
because we have options. So I'm sure you guys have seen that over the years, where maybe you've had to change lakes. We won't have to change lakes, because depending where the wind's coming from, there will be a calm spot that we can go to.
Sure.
So after Mitchell's Bay, we go back to the Detroit River, August 2nd. That'll be some tough fishing. The bass the big ones are gone, but there's still some bass, and that'll be this one will show who can the real good anglers are going to show up here.
Yep.
Back on June 28th, almost anybody can throw a line in the water and catch fish. When we get to August,
Even Steve?
the heat of the summer,
Okay.
I'm sure he could. We get into the dog days of the summer in August, beginning of first couple weeks of August, and it gets tough. So,
Yeah.
but it'll be tough for everybody.
Sure.
Then again, going back to Rondo Bay. Rondo Bay might be a little easier. The largemouth are a little easier to catch, and we will launch again from one of the Erio marinas. We'll decide when and who gives us better parking and easier to launch, but it shouldn't be a problem. Then Tuesday, August 16th, back at the Bell River launch again. This area here, there was an elite tournament there. It wasn't Bassmasters, it was the other one there. It's called Major League Fishing. They were there a few years ago at this time, and the fishing was phenomenal. So I've tried the last couple of years. It never did match what it did 3 years ago when the elites were there. And then we do Mitchell's Bay, following by Manning Road. And I think that's 10, 4 or 5. Yeah, that's 10 events. And to go past August 30th, I left it open in case there's any postponements. And once you get past the first or second week of September, it gets a little dark out, and it'd be kind of hard to do a 6 till 9, and we might have to go 5 till 8. We'll see what happens if we have to book any after August 30th.
Yeah, we have to be a little creative as you get to the end of the summer there. So we started ending our just a little bit earlier, so we don't have to mess with that. But I think that first year we went right up into the end of August, and yeah, we started going, I think 6 to 8:30, and then we wanted to fish for longer, so then we made it 5:30 to 8:30. So we'll have to see what the light does, but we'll have to move it a little bit earlier. But
Exactly.
it works out. It's all in fun. So. Well, cool. Excited to have you. Thanks for reaching out. We're glad to. It's pretty exciting. I'm planning to try and make it over as long as they let me cross the border. I'm gonna try to make it over for that first one. So hopefully.
I'm pretty sure by June. I mean, right now, personally, I think we're experiencing the flu season.
Yeah.
The Omicron strain right now. The jury's still out as far as what kind of symptoms we're getting from it. So I think come February we're going to see things kind of get better, and by the summer it's going to I'm hoping it's going to be a lot better than what it is now.
Yeah.
I honestly can't see them closing the border again.
Yeah.
Right now they put us on a travel advisory, and those words can scare a lot of people not to travel now. I mean, today the big talk was people that had booked trips, Dominican, Cuba, all over, and now they're wondering what to do. But I have a trip booked for February. Not sure what I'm going to do yet, but I'm sure come June 28th, you guys will be able to cross without any trouble, as long as you're vaccinated, of course.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hope so, because I'd like to come fish that one. I'd like to be there for that first one. So. Rick's jumping
that'll be
on,
a good one.
asking about the entry fees, which is something that we never really talked about. We do a $30 entry fee, and I think that was pretty much the plan was to continue that. But I guess we never talked about if we're using your money or ours.
That was one of my questions too. I don't know how that's going to work. Do you have to set up a separate account with PayPal? I'm not sure. What's the easiest way to do it?
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure off the top of my head either. So that's gonna be one of those things where I'm gonna get back to you on that, Rick, because I don't know. We didn't actually talk about that. I think that
okay,
we can probably do it, and I think it'd probably make it easier just to do it in Canadian dollars. But we'll just have to see from there. So I'll see if we have to do a whole nother account or if it'll do all the conversions for us. So
right.
Yeah,
now the option might be I may have to create the PayPal account.
Sure.
And it could be probably done in Canadian money. So
Yeah,
it'd be nice to keep it at $30. It makes it simple.
Yep.
Instead of watching it fluctuate. You know, our dollar is going down again. It was up in the 80-cent range before. Now it's down to 77 something. So it'd be a lot easier if we can do it in Canadian dollars.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's what we'll probably aim to do, and I'm sure we can get that figured out. So.
Get a question.
All right, and would you guys be able to post? Would you be able to put the rules into the into our page on Facebook, the group page on Facebook?
Oh, yep. Yeah. We can post them up there. So. Yep,
Okay, if you could just put it in a files directory, and then I'll kind of show the link where people can find it.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be fine. You have a question, you said?
And
Yeah. Did you get a chance to do
Go
any
ahead.
muskie fishing in the fall over there at SC?
well, because of this trip, I didn't get out much. I got out for 4 hours, and it was the first time I bought the active target from Lawrence and hooked her up. And I got to tell you, I caught 2 fish within the first hour, and I gotta credit the active target. I was able to see the bait. Anyone that's thinking of getting the active target or even the Garmin Live Scope for a kayak, spend the money on a really good device that's going to hold your transducer, because I've seen guys that have put up flimsy setups and it's not that good to read and it's hard to see in the screen. I bought an expensive one. I spent some money on it. It's a outfit from, I can't remember the name, Fish Finder Mounts, I think it's called, and they're from BC in Canada.
Yep.
But they also sell to the U.S. Actually, they advertise in U.S. dollars, but it made a difference to me catching those fish. It really did.
I think actually that's the same company I think that Mullins used and recommended to me for his mount from over there. So,
Nice.
yep.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Well, anything else that you want to add in here?
Nope. Just if anyone has any questions, start populating the group page. We've already got about 83 members on there, I think.
Oh, nice.
So just pop the questions in there, and I'll make sure I keep an eye on it. And if anything I can't answer, I'll forward to you guys.
Cool. Sounds good. And that's just a quick reminder too that for each one of the league divisions, we did go ahead and create a group for each one of them this year. So make sure to join. You can actually go to the Topwater Series page and click on groups, and it'll show all the different groups. Obviously, the one for Ontario, and then all the other
divisions.
So every division will have its own local group this year. So if you
That sounds like a headache.
yeah, that's Mike's job. Mike's
4 new Facebook pages.
That's Mike's job.
A member of, right?
well, there's always like link changes and that kind of stuff, and it's just
No, it makes sense.
there's just so many now. It's like you need a spot to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
So Kyle, can you just briefly explain to people the about you have your own app and how the $30 is broken down?
Yeah, so basically we launched our own application, I guess about a year and a half ago. Last year was the first year that we used it full time, and after about a month or so, it squared away and went pretty well after that. But yeah, we wrote our own app just to avoid using TourneyX or any of the others.
Even Dave likes it now.
Yeah, Dave didn't like it at first. He was a little grumpy, but he eventually came around. But yeah, we wrote our own app. So for those of you who don't know, like TourneyX or most of the others, they usually charge, I think Fishing Chaos or whatever does a little bit different, but we always paid $5 a guy to use that app. So, even 20 guys coming out for a little weeknight tournament is $100 that went to that. So we wrote the own app. We don't charge anything for that. So all that money just goes right back into the purse. The only fees, the things that really come out are the transaction fees. So that's basically what PayPal charges. But other than that, we don't have any fees or anything that come out of it, and all just goes right into the purse. So, and we kind of have a calculation that we're going to post up on the website based on how many people have entered, basically what the payouts are. But we pay usually first and second. As long as there's more than 10 people, we pay first through third, and then we do a little big bass prize as well. So.
All right, and the payout, is it done? Are you paid through PayPal, or are you guys hand cash over? These are some of the questions I've already gotten.
Yep, everything's done through PayPal. So basically, we do payments once per week. So usually it's within a day or two. We usually do it basically towards the end of the week for everything for the last week. So if tournament's on Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, then usually it's Thursday that everything gets sent out. So and gets sent out via PayPal.
What about the judging? Where is the judging done from?
So this year we're actually changing judging up a little bit. Last year it was actually a few different people that helped out, but it was a lot of Mike Anderson handling most of the judging. But we're changing up this year just to make it a little bit easier. So we actually have basically a crowdsourced judging setup. Not to go into too many details, but we handle all the judging. But it's actually just a group of people that are going to be handling it, and then we've got a head judge that's kind of in charge of all them and making sure everybody's going by the same standards. If there's any type of disputes or anything, we have a panel that those get sent over to review that. So, and then we're separating all of it's just something that people have been concerned about, but we're actually separating the locations from the submissions. So when the judge is looking at those submissions approving, they don't actually see the location. That's done by somebody else that's doing the locations, and they don't actually see the fish. So we've separated it. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, that way, I mean, it's something that, I don't know if it does happen, but I know people are concerned about it happens, that, spots get blown or something like that. So we've separated that out. And then we're still working out some of the fine details, but essentially these people that are doing the judging are basically kind of compensated for their time in doing that. And then, like I said, we've got go ahead.
If you remember that I tried getting in on the new app and I couldn't. It wasn't allowing a Canadian IP.
Yep. Yeah.
So I guess that's got it.
Yep, that was
you
actually
gotta
just
straighten that out still.
A block. So that should all be handled. We've actually been working on the app. We haven't released a new version since April, just because once the season started and we were steady, we didn't want to push anything new out. But we've been working on the app nonstop since then. So we actually have a lot of new features and stuff. We've fixed that issue. We've got messaging so that if you're out fishing and something happens that you need to message the directors about, you can do it right through the app. And a bunch of other little features that we've added. So push alerts and all kinds of cool stuff that we've added to it just to make it easier.
Standings.
Yep.
Good.
Standings.
Sounds great.
Standings will be there finally.
That's what I was going to ask.
The rainbow bass option.
We're going to keep the rainbow bass option there.
Oh,
So maybe it would be available for guys to try it out, so we're not doing it the first time on the first night.
Yep, yeah. Once we release
we
the
can
new
play with
version, we're going to basically do some trial tournaments. Anybody can jump on and submit and test it out and all that kind of stuff, so we don't have any issues.
All right.
Got
Well,
a comment popping
that's
up.
great.
I'm getting waved at. Let me take a look at this. What is the app called
Derek
and where
Crane.
from? So, yep. App is called Topwater Tracker. So if you go to any of the app stores, Android, Google Play Store or iOS Store, just search Topwater and it should come right up. But Topwater Tracker, the version that's out there now is the older version, but the new one will push that soon. And then if you sign up, you can to get an account for that, you can either sign up through the app, but it basically pushes you over to topwaterseries.com, which is where you can sign up, and that's where you'll sign up for tournaments. So we also have tournament sign up within the app as well. That's another feature that we added, so you don't have to go to the website to sign up. So, yep, just
All right.
search through there.
And do you have a championship with the at the end of the year, or is there an angler of the year? How does that work with the Topwater League Series?
Yep, so basically every league, I'll give the kind of the simple breakdown, but every league has 3 people that win. There's an angler of the year, which is just tabulated based on your entire season. But we also do something that the simplest way to put it is kind of similar to like a NASCAR shootout. So after 7 weeks, we take whoever's in the top 10 and they can compete for what's called the shootout winner, and they win a prize. But then we take everybody outside of the top 10, and they can win a prize called the underdog. So if you maybe can't make every week, and you've only fished, 3 or 4 tournaments or something like that, you can still come back and win something in those last 3 tournaments. So. And then
Okay, so your angler of the year is based on doing all the tournaments, or do you get to throw some
7
away?
out of 10.
You
So
missed 3, right?
yep, you can miss 3 of them. So.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And then we take,
Sounds
we have a thing we call the World Series of Fishing, which will actually be airing on the show here in the next few weeks, which is basically like our championship, where we take a couple people from every single division, and we have a championship with all those guys. We put two GoPros on every single kayak, and it's actually an MLF style event. So we'll have more information.
Oh,
Yep.
cool.
Yep. Matt got
excited
fish
to
this
see
year.
that,
So
yep.
Joe posts up and
So
says,
did you already have this?
yep, we filmed it. We haven't come out. Somebody, for some reason, is real slow with the video editing, but I'm going to find out who that guy is and get his ass in gear. But no, we'll be playing the episodes of that starting probably either next week or the week after. And there'll be about, I think, 7 total episodes. But we had, I think, about 40 guys all came and fished. We had camera boats out there. We put 2 GoPros on every kayak, and we, like I said, did an MLF style event. So we'll be airing that soon for this last year, and then hopefully in 2022 we'll edit a little bit faster. So it won't take so long to get it out there. But,
Super. Are you guys going to be at the fishing show in January at Novi?
Yes, actually, you're asking all the right questions. This is really easy. Let me start having you come on here. We're going to get rid of Grant and bring you on.
I've done this before.
No, we actually we tossed around the idea. We weren't sure, but we're going to be at the one in Detroit. I think it's January 7th through 9th or something like that, right around there.
Yep.
We'll be at that one.
First weekend.
Yep, and then we'll be the one in March in Grand Rapids as well. So we will be at both of them.
Okay, well that sounds great. Hopefully we can all come across there.
Yeah,
see you
hopefully.
guys.
That'd be awesome. It'd be good to see you after a couple of years.
Yeah. I still got a trophy to pick up, don't I?
Yeah, you got to talk about Mike about that. But I believe so. Apparently Grant must be listening. He's commenting, and I don't know what it said, but I just saw his name.
Crying
just
face.
crying, being fired.
Grant's crying that he lost his job.
No problem, Grant. I'm not trying to take your job.
All right, well, thanks, Rich. I appreciate it. Unless you got anything else, we'll let you get back to your night. And I'm excited to come over there in June and fish this series.
And I'll speak on behalf of quite a few guys. We're excited to fish this series. Like I said, we got a lot of interest, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. I'm excited as well.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I think it's been an awesome time.
Have a good night, guys.
Yep, you too.
You too.
Well,
See you
take
soon.
it easy. All right. Well, that is that. Thanks, Rich, for joining us and going over everything with us. I'm excited. It's kind of cool to be going international. I mean, I guess it's not that far, but pretty cool to be going international.
Pretty cool still.
It'll be neat to see what kind of following they get.
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of
You don't
guys.
charge for the app, and you don't take money from entries.
I run my business like you do.
This guy isn't making any money. This guy's crazy.
You said you did that. Look at you now.
I
He's
know,
following-
true,
He's
but-
following your business plan.
So 7
following
years
Work
from
for
now,
free for
Following the 2K
for 3
business plan.
years, and then man, you got it.
I'd like to go over there and try to fish a couple.
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
fished in Canada before.
I haven't
so.
either.
get a group together and just caravan up there.
Yeah, I'm
do some
planning that
camping.
first one on, it's I think June 28th or something like that. I'm planning on that one. So.
I've fished in Canada every year of my life.
Yeah.
By the time I was 18, I stopped. But when I was a kid, we go up there every summer.
Got my first walleye up there.
Good fishing up there.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard it's really good fishing up there, but I haven't had a chance to. But hopefully this year we'll get to. So. All right. Well, Chad, you're up. What's new?
What is new?
That's all it says here is what's new. So.
What's new?
It's just
Supposedly he's like the point guard for the Pistons.
Chad.
Or something.
Yeah,
I was
no.
waiting to hear about this.
No. What's new? We have a baby on the way coming in May.
Yep. You got to go.
Super
was it
excited.
today you got to go see some
Yeah.
3D images or something.
Yeah, got to see the baby.
That's pretty
and
cool.
Super excited about that. We had the gender reveal about a month ago, I want to say, and I don't know if anybody's seen that, but I was pretty pumped up because the hype was another girl. So, but yeah, so that, and then just working a ton, getting things ready for power washing next season. This is kind of like my downtime to just start getting things rolling for end of April, beginning of May.
Yep.
That, and then got Pistons.
That's
and,
what my note says. First responder pressure washing Pistons baby.
Got a lot going on.
A full life.
A whole life, yeah. Yep. So with the Pistons, I do acro dunking for that at the timeouts and half times.
Oh, that's cool.
They don't really do very many half times anymore, but we do the timeouts, and I'm an adrenaline junkie for that kind of stuff. So we pretty much do performances during the timeouts. Certain quarters, we mainly do like the third or fourth quarter. Bring the crowd back up when the Pistons are losing every game. So
We're starting to look a little better.
yeah. No, they have a good team this year, though.
Yeah.
Got a
few years,
couple.
we could be a little dangerous.
I know, a couple young players. They're the fifth youngest team in the NBA, and I think they're still learning. And seeing where they're at in the NBA. But yeah, it's a great time. I love it. Love trampoline dunking.
Sounds awesome.
I mean, there's really nothing you can really say about it, you know, in detail. But
We have a video of fishing to show in a few minutes of one of your fishing videos, but I kind of wish we'd have had one of the trampoline.
Right.
I can definitely send you one.
I want to see the outtake. So when you jump too far and like hit the backboard or something.
One time I actually had that happen. I overjumped and I was going for a front flip dunk, and I kind of shot towards the rim a little bit too close, and my shin was coming down onto the rim, flipped back in the middle of a show, and I was in North Carolina at the time when I was doing the Globetrotters. I did that for a couple tours, and but yeah, came down. That was my like one hiccup I had. Kind of a funny story how it happened, but yeah, did that, and then now I've been with the Pistons for, this is my 5th season.
Nice.
So
So you did stuff with the Globetrotters?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did. So they do like tours,
Yep.
and most of them, when they do the nationwide tours, it's like 4 months, 5 months. You're just on the road in a Greyhound bus, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you got an East, a Central, and a West Coast tour. I was on the East tour, both of my tours, and I had a blast.
Nice.
But
That sounds cool.
traveling up and down from Maine all the way down to Florida. Farthest west we went to is like Chicago.
Yeah.
So, but tour life was a long time ago. Can't do that anymore. So, super fun. But yeah, I just obviously couldn't get rid of acro dunking too fast, because that's what I was doing over there with the Globetrotters. So
Yeah.
I actually started back up doing the Pistons again, and then this is the 5th year I've been doing that. So
Nice.
missed it, wanted to come back, and dunking back at home now, so it's fun.
Can you dunk without the trampoline?
Absolutely not. Can't even touch the rim. No,
I just think of all the things that can go wrong jumping off a trampoline.
yeah, it's a good time, and I think it's, you know, just running and jumping. There's a lot of practice that goes into it with timing, hitting the tramp. You know, catching a pass is one thing, but going by yourself is another. You know, if you're catching a pass from someone, you got to have the right timing to have that right bounce, or if it's coming off the backboard, or, I mean, it just goes into detail. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of work behind that goes into it, and it's a lot of fun. So
All sounds pretty cool, but this guy actually stood up in his kayak this year. So
Yeah. What do you got now?
yep.
all right. So aside from that, we'll get to your business here in a second. But you do like first responder work as well.
Yep. I'm a firefighter for Northville City.
Nice.
I'm at Station 2 in Plymouth, downtown Plymouth,
Yep.
and paid on call.
Yep.
So,
And you just started that like a year ago or something, wasn't it?
yep,
Pretty
I
recent.
started that pretty fast after I got out of the academy. Ended the academy beginning of April, and then got in with the fire station at the end of May.
Nice.
So, yep, started that, and it's a paid on call fire station. So the tones drop, you know, whatever you're doing, if you're available, you know, you pretty much go to the station and respond to it. That's pretty much the ordeal of it. So
Sure. Nice.
it works out really well, though.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Nice. That's awesome.
So
Thanks for doing that. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick, obviously you fish as well. We'll get to in a minute. But the last one I'm here, pressure washing. You have a business.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been in the power washing business industry for the last 3 years now. This is coming into my 3rd year. I started off power washing in the beginning of April 2019, and I kind of switched things over this year to soft washing. Not that anything's wrong with power washing, it's just a lot of people that you hear, and then some of my clients, they kind of get hesitant on, a lot of PSI getting blown at their siding and things like that.
Sure.
So, obviously if you're doing it correctly, you're not going to stand as close. So I've always wanted to get into soft washing, wanted to look into it and get the right training onto it. I took some training a couple months back down in Alabama.
Nice.
And it was a great experience, learning, going out into the field, learning how these things work. It's no gas. You're running off a pump, 12-volt battery. It's just awesome.
Right.
It's you're not hearing this loud motor going off at 9 in the morning, waking people up. And so it's good. I think it's going to be good. But so it's chemical based. It's low pressure.
Yep.
And you're letting the chemicals do the work pretty
Sure.
much.
Nice.
So, yep.
Well, while you're on here, do you have a website, or if people are interested, you service, I'm guessing, kind of Southeast Michigan area? Or?
Yep. It's www.h2oexteriorwash.com.
Cool. Well, thanks.
So I'll be starting at depending on the weather, end of April to
You could have been out there today.
May. Yeah, I could have actually. Yeah. Started in May, and I normally go till about beginning of November. And as soon as it gets cold again, I call it for the season, and
Yep.
get everything back ready again for the next. And so,
Nice.
but yeah, I do house wash, roof washing, gutter cleaning, and concrete cleaning.
Cool.
So,
Well, there you go. And you also fish, which we'll get to that in a second here. But we have you make some YouTube videos, so we've got one of those queued up. So we'll go ahead and play that. Give us here a quick chance to take a break, and then we'll talk about that right after.
sweet.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm out on a local lake near me fishing for some lake trout. This is probably one of my favorite times of the year. Go riding solo on this one today. I'm only gonna be out here for a couple hours just because it is very cold. It's like 21, 22 degrees. So we're gonna get out there. Brought only a couple rods with me. Hopefully, I'm having problems with this cord that I'm running onto the GoPro. Hoping it records everything. I'm gonna keep it running. Like I said, I'm only gonna be out there a couple hours. So bear with me, and yeah, hopefully catch a lake trout. So stay tuned. By the way, almost forgot to mention, one big upgrade on this kayak on my autopilot is this Humminbird 9-inch Helix with side scan, mega side scan, mega down scan. Super excited to use this. I upgraded to this just because I was having complications with my Garmin last season, so I'm going to give this a shot. Heard really good things about it, and it works really well with the Old Town. So got everything all set up the last few weeks, so hopefully this runs good out here today, and should be a game changer. So we're gonna get out there. See you soon. Make our way to the first spot and hang out there for a little bit and see what we can do. I got one. Got something. Got something. Jesus Christ. There, dude. little sunfish. There's one right there. There's one, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Yes, let's go. Get in there. Let's go. Yes. Woo. Yes, sir. Woo-hoo-hoo. Let's go, baby. Yes, sir. Nice one. Last look. Release. Heck yeah. What we came here for. We're gonna call it a day. One and done. My feet and my hands are cold, and I'm gonna leave on that note with that one good one. I don't even know what time it is. Probably 11 o'clock almost. Been out here for about maybe 2 hours, so I'm pretty happy with that.
All right, welcome back. I'm told we have a question that's going to pop up here before we get started. Chris Culbertson's asking, what is the setup for that spoon?
I'm using a Ned Jig. I'm just joking. Flutter spoon, 1/2 ounce, and that was really the deal. The last few years I've been doing this, so and I got to give all the props to my buddy Chris Blair.
Yep.
He's put me on this. That's just no secret. He's definitely showed me the way how to fish for these trout, and they're just it keeps you coming back, and
Yeah.
you can see I was bundled up there. It's like 20 degrees or less that day, and
Yeah. What line? That's what I was thinking too.
what line?
Yeah, what line rod
That
are you using?
lose. I think it was 8-to-1. I'm using that was 15-pound fluoro. A little heavy. Normally I'm at like 10, so and then I think it's a 7-1.
Okay.
That was a medium heavy.
Yeah.
Medium heavy, so yeah.
Gear ratio is what, 8?
8. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, Chris Blair, if you're watching, I've sent you like 5 Facebook messages over the last like month, and you haven't answered. I know you have a new kid and all that, but answer your freaking messages.
But he's got time to blow up on here all the time.
Yeah, you got time to make all these comments. Answer the damn message.
Don't you have a trailer to build?
But no, it's a lot of fun. It's a good space filler through the winter months and things like that. So tons of fun. Can't say any more about it.
Yeah.
You just got to fight through the cold. That's it.
I've always wanted to go out and do, go after more species. Like I wanted to do the salmon out in the kayak, and but it's just like I just run out of time. There's the group on the east side that does that competition where it's like 30 different species and you catch 2 of each. And
is that Chris LeMessurier? Yeah.
Yep. I've signed up. It's a cool tournament. I've signed up twice for it and basically caught bass and pike. And everybody else out there, I mean, they've caught 25 different species, and like, oh, I drove up to the northwest side of the state just to go target this. I'm like, And I mean, they have everything on there, and it's just like, I'd love to go target more types of fish. I just run out of time. I mean,
I think that's everybody's.
yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that it's down there and it's pretty local.
Yep.
So like, you know, when this time of the year hits, just like I said, you just got to fight through the cold. Me and Chris will be out there and layers and layers, and it'll be like literally like 15 to 20 degrees. You know,
You kind of got the Chris Blair mustache going on.
yeah.
Well, it's a fireman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have the mustache.
Chris Blair's not a fireman, though.
Oh, he is.
Is Chris a poser?
Chris has got the mullet.
Yeah.
He's got that over me.
All right, so going back, talking fishing, 2021 season, how did it treat you? Give us kind of like your little recap.
2021. So started off good. I kind of had some electronic complications with the Garmin series, and I'm not trying to like down any of the brands that I use or anything, but
Just lost your Garmin sponsorship.
yeah,
goes that free
there it
grass.
goes, there it goes. He said no mustaches, no mustaches. No, I was having some issues with, you know, the electronics this year, and you know, the GPS and the fish finder, or the oh my god, the transducer and the trolling motor kind of was
Oh, okay.
bugging a little bit.
Yeah.
So that, and I don't know, I guess just really just the electronics, you know. I was having problems with the batteries this year, and but on the other side of that, I fished a lot of events. I was glad to fish new lakes. That was a big thing this year. Got out to Traverse Bay, did the what else would we do? Got out to Saginaw this year for the first time. That was a lot of fun.
I've never fished out there. I heard it's good.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you get out there, it's like you instantly know you're in new water. It's just largemouth. It's fun. So
Nice. And then I think it was this year that you were fishing a bunch of tournaments, and then you kind of like pulled back a little bit. And
yeah. So frustration kind of built in a little bit. Kind of got to the best of me sometimes,
Yep.
you know. And normally
I never have that happen.
I don't.
Have positive attitude.
Nope. Full out, happy every single day, you know. No, I had some problems with the electronics, and it kind of got the best of me mid-season, I think. And I think it started at the Traverse Bay event. I just totally went out and skunked that one.
Those are, I mean, if you haven't done it a lot, I mean, those big, like I struggle with the big smallmouth lakes because I never do it. And then I show up there once or twice a year thinking I'm going to go, you know, kill them, and I don't. And
It's tough, dude. Like, you know, if you show up to a lake and you don't get a chance to pre-fish it, and I'm not saying you need to pre-fish every single lake, for 2 or 3 days or anything like that, but at least a day is nice to get a good grasp of what's going on, you know. So, but I struggle through the summer months.
yeah,
Is what I'm trying to say.
I do. I mean, I can largemouth in the summer. I can do well. Smallmouth.
Yeah.
It gets tough smallmouth fishing. I don't do well there.
It's tough for everybody in
Yeah.
summer with smallmouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I do find.
No matter even if your graphs are working or not.
Yeah. No, I do find with the spring months, and then as soon as it hits the summer, that's my weak spot right there. So
Mine is that like
the
I do-
transition into the summer, I think that's where.
I do good in the spring, you know. I mean, like everybody's pre-spawn and all that, and I have not figured out that like immediate
Right after
spawn.
post-spawn.
Yeah.
Like it's the first month after post-spawn.
Yeah. I mean, there's guys that obviously can handle it because they're kicking my ass. But,
We're overthinking it.
yeah,
Just put a jig on it and go beat the banks. Get your limit and get out of there.
yeah.
You
Because
know?
once it gets hot, obviously, I mean, the docks and all that stuff.
There's
I have
always
problems
fish in the shallows.
with. Yeah.
I don't care what the water temp is. Obviously, it's different with smallmouth. We're talking largemouth.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was even up in like Traverse Bay. We fished that. Was that July or something like that? We had the Traverse Elite, and I mean, I was thinking, oh, they're going to fish this out deep, and they won it in 4 feet of water. And
Yeah.
just
That's
Traverse Bay is ridiculous, though. It's unlike anything else.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
just a whole different ballgame.
that's like one of my favorite lakes too. You know, it's just the smallmouth and how clear it is, and just the beautiful weather you get at that time of the year, and the water is just awesome. So
yeah, I like going up there. I didn't fish. I was obviously running the tournament this year, so I didn't fish that one. But I love going up there. But we've had, the bays and elk and skagamog for the last two state championships before this year, and I've never figured it out.
Love me some skag.
yeah,
A lot of money on skag.
I hate that lake.
I love that lake.
I like that lake when I pre-fish. Every time I go out there and pre-fish, I'm like, oh, I'm on. Then I go out the next day and not the same. So
yeah. This year I got the Old Town autopilot, and
Yep.
it was just used awesome. Like out at Lake Sinclair, that's just like my 20-minute away lake to go to, and I've been getting to know that lake a little bit more better, and absolutely love it. Love that lake.
yeah. So Old Town last year, they put a Minn Kota
Oh,
motor right in the middle of the kayak, basically. They just plop it in
Perfect.
there, and you can
It's
control
not
it with the remote.
kayaking
Oh,
anymore.
that's what I'm talking
It's
about.
still a kayak.
That is kayaking. That's my kind of kayak.
Right,
That's
yeah.
what it is.
Yep.
You're all a bunch of idiots trying to be out there paddling and kicking with your feet. And you'll be out of breath in 15 minutes.
You can set a course on that thing and then let it do its thing and rig up on your right out
Play on
there.
your phone for 20 minutes.
To me,
Yeah, I
that's
like
the-
that.
the
That's
neat
good
part
fishing
of that
there.
kayak, right? Is a lot of people can put trolling motors on their kayaks, and they have them and whatever else, and having the ability to be able to set your thing and troll that line that you want to do, and just stand
Yeah.
and fish and be hands free. And I mean that.
Like, how fast does it push the kayak?
About 5.5, I'd say.
Oh, that's plenty fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can move
depending on
pretty
how much equipment, things you have
Right,
on there
yeah.
and stuff like that.
A
I
big
pack
thing-
pretty light.
Big thing with
So-
them too is the weight. You gotta keep it back weighted.
I found that out on Muskegon when I almost sank my Hobie.
Yeah.
And then Stephen Crooks had to come pick me up.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Joe Camiotti just commented that brown fish will break your heart.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
So does Joe Camiotti, finishing second in the state championship. You watching him do it.
He's not even from Michigan.
The answer to all of Kyle's messages: no, maybe, yes, no, no. It's a boy. Fair enough. All right. So, what's in store for you in 2022?
22.
That's next year.
Man,
Like 2 weeks.
it's like far away or
next month,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently,
The baby coming in May. Hopefully still be able to fish as many events as I can, but I want to try to fish some of the lakes that I haven't fished this year or before.
Yeah.
Like Fletcher's Pond, Charlevoix's coming up.
Yep.
On the list, and that's one I haven't been up there, even to that whole general area up there. So
What month you guys fishing Charlevoix?
was it June? No,
It was like Charlevoix's the second one because we're starting out.
actually find out right
Starting
here.
out-
Early. That's gonna be a good.
Yeah,
That'd be a good
June
tournament.
June 12th and 13th, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle's got
Yeah.
an extra kayak.
Fletcher's Pond is
Ooh.
the week.
I think so. Put me on a bass boat. And I don't want to run the troll motor either. I'll just sit in the back and do my deal. Someone else can do the work.
Fletcher's Pond is the week after July 4th, July 7th, or the 10th, I think it is. And then Charlevoix is the 12th
Yep.
of
June.
Of June?
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, that'd be a good tournament.
So
Yep. And then we're fishing Hardy and all the dams up there, I think. And
Hardy's on fire, man.
I have
Later in
not
the
been to
year.
that
The dam
one, so
tour?
that's
Yep,
on
the
the
dam
list.
tour.
Hardy has been putting out bags of fish the last 2 years.
Is it a smallmouth or is it
Both.
both?
yeah,
is
there's
it?
both.
They used to be a lot more smallmouth, and then recently it's been a lot more largemouth, and then the last few years it's been putting out a real nice smallmouth. Yeah,
Nice.
they good lake.
Yep, trying new lakes out, and then getting this autopilot tuned in, and then just fishing slower. I think I kind of get on the water and I just power fish all the way through it and rush, and cover more water and really go back to the basics.
Yeah.
So
I think
and
that's what
just
you have to
enjoy
do when you-
just enjoy being on the water. Last year I got too frustrated and not that I enjoy it, but you're going out to these bigger lakes and these bigger tournaments, and you want to do the best you can, and fish as hard as you can. But it's like some of the times of the year, it's just like you can only do what you can do. So
yeah, it's tough. I mean, especially with I've always said if I want to do better fishing, I just need to pick 1 or 2 lakes and fish all the tournaments on those lakes. But we jump all over.
If you want to win more money.
Yeah.
It's about money. That's what you do.
Yeah.
No lie.
Yeah. That's what I said. I said I need to.
I'm gonna fish every tournament on Muskegon Lake.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fish it for 5 years. All of a sudden, you'll win a lot of money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we jump around. I mean, half of us are fishing 2 series. It's a new lake every single week. I mean, you know how West Michigan.
That's fun, though.
Right? It's fun.
Yeah.
It keeps it exciting.
Hard to win money, but yeah.
But yeah, it's a toss up every week when you go out there. So.
And that's the thing, a lot of us look at it like our night out or our
Oh yeah.
it's fun. These nighttime tournaments, these 3-hour shootouts, we've said it so many times, on here and everything. It's fun. It's seeing the guys, it's hanging out, seeing the people that come out and fish, and catching up, having a pop afterwards, and talking with everybody, and listening to me, talk about how many I lost, and trying to figure out how many other people caught and what they used, and.
The Monday nighters for fun. The Saturday morning, Sunday morning. That's for fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's what too. I mean, because I fished West Michigan bass tournaments, and then I got into kayak fishing, and they only had the weekend tournaments. So your first tournament, you're showing up, and and the way kayak tournaments work is you don't all go from one launch. You're going from whatever launch you choose. So it's like you gotta have a game plan, and you go out there, and the first one I skunked, and I'm like, oh, it must be tough conditions out here, and then guys are throwing up huge bags. I'm like, no, I just suck. But it's like the weeknight just kind of makes it a little easier to get started in. And
Can you guys use a rig?
Yeah.
In your kayak deal?
Yep.
you could have was it five hooks?
Yeah.
Or
Whatever.
you can have 5 hooks. You can have as many baits out there as you want. But
Yep.
In most states, it's only.
You guys throw the
3 or
A-rig?
less.
I do not.
I have not.
Never have.
oh my god.
A couple
What about
times.
you? You guys even know how to catch fish? What do you mean? You guys throw the A-rig?
No.
You're all complaining about not
have
being able to
really
catch
fancy-
smallmouth, and then you can't throw an
man,
We
A-rig?
have really fancy looking kayaks.
I
and
guess.
we just troll around the lake. And
With Ned rigs.
Oh. I definitely
love
bring some
the
A-rigs
A-rig.
to Hardy. And I definitely bring some A-rigs to Charlevoix.
I have a setup for it. I
And
don't.
that's why you hate Skag, because you're not throwing an A-rig.
No, fair enough. I feel like I don't. Yeah, I mean, I've thrown it before, but I just don't throw it enough, and I don't go fish smallmouth enough.
Well, you have to throw it the whole day, right? Like, it's not one of those baits that you can. I'm going to throw 3 times. Oh, they're not biting.
Yeah.
Like, if you fish with a partner in normal bass tournaments, right? You have one.
Our tournaments are normal.
You have one guy throwing the A-rig the whole time, right? And then you have another guy doing something else until the guy with the A-rig gets on him, and then he picks it up and goes. But,
Sure. Makes sense.
man, smallmouth love them here in Michigan.
Yeah.
You guys got to start throwing that more often.
Well, I'm gonna try that then.
You need to. At least, I don't know, but catch it. People that sit in a boat and fish,
Yeah.
bass tournaments catch a lot with A-rigs.
Yeah.
Maybe it's different with kayak. I don't think it would be, but
I feel like one of those things is like, I don't know. Sometimes fishing from a kayak, I feel like I'm more rushed almost because it takes you much longer to get where you're going, and so it's like.
yeah, that's true. You don't have as much time.
I think that.
Steve Espen and I talked about that same thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's guys that slow down. I mean,
Yeah.
Espen's a great example. Who's
Well-
a great stick and does well.
And that's what we talked about is we thought in a boat it was just easier to pick up and go somewhere else. Where in a kayak you worked that area
Yeah.
longer because you were there and you couldn't just go across the
tough,
lake.
though.
You couldn't just.
I mean,
Those tournaments, at least boat tournaments, they're one spot inside of a spot, right? Like
Yeah.
you might be fishing. A lot of guys that win like West Michigan Bass, not Case of Monies, but Hair of the Dog, like those big type of tournaments, they're fishing a spot as big as this table for 8 hours, and there's 50 boats 20 feet around them, not catching any fish, fishing the same spot, but they're
Yeah.
not, this is the spot. So that'd be tough with a kayak.
Yeah, it definitely changes it up. I mean, the one tournament I know I thought I had a good spot and I committed to it, and it took me, it was a 3-hour tournament. It took me 45 minutes to get there. Then a storm came through, and by the time I got fishing again, there was, 45 minutes left. And
3-hour tournament, but you don't have to come back, right? Like as soon as it's over, that's when you're done.
yeah, you have to be back within a half hour.
You have to be back within a half hour.
So you got some time, but I mean there are occasions where you got to leave before. But for the most part, in those 3 hours, you can wait till it's done and leave. And for the bigger weekend ones, you can usually leave like a half hour, an hour before lines in. But for our weeknight ones, you have 10 minutes basically. We do a shotgun start, and you got 10 minutes to where you can start fishing.
And like if it's on Hardy, you can go to any launch you want.
Depends on, for our weeknight ones, we all start at the same launch.
Okay.
For the weekend tournaments, like for the one we're doing on Hardy, you can go to any launch you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, can you put in and then take out and
Yep.
drive? Oh, you can.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Making a lot more sense now.
Yep. Yeah, it's different, but yeah. Put a boater in a kayak and put a kayaker in a boat. Who's doing better?
Well, first off, the guy in the boat can't do the kayak thing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Anyone can drive a boat, right?
The kayaker in the boat is going to hit the boater in the kayak.
It's a hell of a lot easier to fish off a boat than it is a kayak. There ain't no doubt about that.
Well, that's like the national championship a couple years back. It ended up getting canceled to COVID, but we had a whole planned up that I was taking my boat down, and then we had another guy bringing all the kayaks down, and we were going to go pre-fish the whole week out of the boat.
Yeah.
Then a lot of the series outlawed that, but that's the biggest thing too. Is just even like pre-fishing. I mean, you can in a boat, you can go fish, fish a lake, and you go to
Or
a
at
spot,
least graph it, not even fish it, but just graph it in, half a day or whatever.
eliminate all that bad water.
Right.
You know, with a kayak, I mean, especially on some tournaments, you don't get out to pre-fish, or even if you do get out to pre-fish, like you haven't eliminated all that bad water, and that's half of it.
That was the only thing that I accomplished pre-fishing Fletcher's, was finding out the 2 areas I definitely didn't want to go fish the next day. Seriously, it was like, okay, well, I'm not going there. I wanted to see what those areas were like, and
I feel like kayak fishing, it seems like you'd be better off just launching the kayak, staying casting distance to shore, and just going around the whole freaking lake.
Yeah.
Right?
then people
Besides going to go way out there trying to find these little humps and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like, especially in a weeknighter, right?
Right.
You only got 3 hours, like just go
Well,
catch as many as you can.
but again, there's always that one guy that does go out, and it's a gamble.
I hate that guy, right? The one guy goes out there and wins it,
Like it's a
the worst
gamble
guy.
because I mean I've been on both sides of it. You go out there and find that underwater hump that takes
Right.
you half hour to get to or something like that, and then you get there, then there's just nothing, or or
Or
it's
you
a
win.
tournament.
Yeah.
So it's you're kind of committed to whatever it is you do. So. All right, Matt, I'm gonna jump over to you. We're running a little bit short on time here, so don't want to talk too much random things.
That's what happens when you bring me over here.
Yep. So you were going to go fishing today? You got out there? Tell us how it went for you.
Did a little fly fishing for some steelhead. I hooked into about an 8-inch brown trout and lost it because I was standing on a down tree about 7 foot above the water with my wife on the phone distracting me. And I watched a guy catch steelhead, so that was cool. And then I went to the same spot and about went over my waders because he was just fishing from shore with spinning rod, so he can cast over there versus the fly rod just plinking it out there with trees behind me. You can't cast too far forward.
Sure.
But it was nice to get out in the water in my leaky waders and have to change my pants in the parking lot.
Nice.
It was fishing.
It's fishing. So, what's new with you? What's been going on with you the last couple months since season ended?
Well, I got married.
Yep.
So that was a big one. And our honeymoon, went out west and did some fly fishing. Pretty much since...
You went fishing on the honeymoon?
Yes. It was both of our ideas, and she caught the biggest fish of the trip, of course. And she dove into 40-degree water 4 times to land this fish, and was able to land it. So she set the hook on the fish. It starts running down the river. We'd been out in 40 degrees, rainy, 20-mile-an-hour winds. We'd been out there for like 4 hours, so her hands weren't working too well. So it starts taking off, and her hands just let go of the rod. So she sees her rod going through the water, and she just dives in after it. I'm like 30, 40 yards away watching this all unfold, and I just see my wife just bloop, dive underwater, come up with the rod with the fish still on there. Tried to stand up and kept tripping over rocks and going under again and again and again. And she stood up, fought the fish over to me behind her back, and landed it.
Nice.
So that was pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome. You won't forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, pretty much after the tournament season, then that I kind of switched over to fly fishing for the trout. But I'm gonna be getting the Hobie all rigged up for next year over the next couple months.
Nice. How did the 2021 season work out for you?
Started out decent. Had a couple podium. I had the first Kalamazoo lake I went to. I thought I had it in the bag. Went out and did some pre-fishing. Found some isolated patches of grass. Throwing jerk baits over them. Did real well, but I just couldn't get that one big fish to seal the deal.
Yeah.
Somebody went into, it was like a 2-section lake, and they went into the other section, and it just happened to be where the bigger ones were at. But it was a decent season, and then just getting ready for the wedding and work and all that stuff just kind of fizzled out there, and then almost sank my kayak in Muskegon Lake from having the battery too far forward in there. So that was a fun ordeal. But it was definitely a little bit more of a struggle than 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a pretty good year in your 2020.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struggled earlier on in the year, 2021, when everybody was throwing the small swim baits to get them. I just could not get that going, so that's my goal for next year.
Nice.
Is learning those.
And so other than that, what other goals? What's going on for you in 2022?
New job, so I'll be working 5 days a week versus 6, so I can actually do some of the big tournaments.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be really nice. I'll be working with Judges Jawjackers again, so that'll be fantastic. Get to use those baits for another year, and just see what we can come up with.
Cool. I always laugh because I refer to you as like the MacGyver of kayak fishing. I mentioned that earlier. But
the SS Jimmy rig.
Yes, that's. And I don't know how to describe it in a boat world. I don't know what the equivalent would
Nitro?
Basically, a John boat that has been
Flex sealed, JB welded.
Well, year one, I mean, you did really well.
Wait, your kayak's a John boat?
No, just
That's his equivalent.
yeah.
Well, year one, he was out there. I don't remember what kind of kayak it was, but
It's a
he was like
knockoff Pelican.
Flex Seal taping this thing every single event.
Was that in 2020?
That'd have been 2020.
You did really well.
Yep.
And then you went and bought a fancy one and they stuck?
Yep.
Probably should go back to that other one. You got a little cocky there. Got the nice one. You can't fish out of nice. Better go back to
I
the
just need
crabby
to add
one.
some JB weld to the Hobie.
Yep. Just random spots. Just he's gonna be out there drilling holes in it. Be like, stop leaking.
Just so I can JB weld it.
Too focused on fishing.
I do have the trailer that is put together with a metal bar that I had to drill
That's
holes
right,
with
your
because
trailer
the
broke.
trailer just snapped in half going down the road, and luckily I had 2x4s and
ratchet straps, right?
straps, and I still made it to Grand Rapids to fish that night.
I saw that
I like your
post.
style.
I saw that
impressive right
post,
there.
and I saw that. I went, that's just amazing.
There was this tournament. I don't remember what it was, but like somebody was missing a pair of pliers or didn't have a pair of pliers or something like that.
That was the World Series of Fishing.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, "Oh, does anybody have one of these?" He's got it, and then like
You gotta be prepared.
he was ready for
They're
everything.
calling my Jeep Mobile Home Depot.
Well, yeah, you like because you got that Hobie this year, but it didn't come with a seat, right? And didn't you build all that?
it had some funky old, just regular boat seat from Walmart in there, and so a stadium seat on 2 metal bars to get it raised where I wanted, and then I have all that space underneath.
Yeah, so we do our World Series of Fishing where we put cameras. I was talking about before. We put cameras on all the kayaks and everything, and we go out there and message him the week before. I'm like, well, how do we want to mount this thing? And he's like, well, it's got the old round style bars. I'm like, well, that's not going to work. I'm trying to figure. I'm like, we'll just show up and figure it out that day. He's over there. He figured it out. I'm like, I didn't do anything.
Well, and then I attached the 2 coolers in the back for my tackle storage, and then my crazy wooden rod holder, the horizontal rod holder.
It's a unique looking kayak, to say the least.
So most kayaks, they've got the rods sticking straight up out of packs. I've got 2 pieces of wood sticking out the sides with a PVC rectangle with those foam rod holders that you can get, like the Berkeley rod holders, screwed to that. So I've got 6 rods on either side of my kayak, just laid out like you would on the
You
deck
bringing
of a boat.
12 rods fishing with you? That's first
on
problem.
there, yeah.
12 rods? You guys are crazy.
That's why the boats have my boat has spots for 24 rods. You don't fill all them spots.
You need like 3 rods to do everything.
Well, you throw a jig and an A-rig. We figured that out.
And a crankbait. That's 3 rods. Jig, crankbait, and A-rig. What else do you need? You hit an all-water deal. All-water columns with that. That's funny.
All right, guys. Well, we're running close on our time here, but I've got a few questions that are just going to kind of throw out to everybody here, and we'll just kind of go around the table and answer them. So, actually, I lied. I'm supposed to release the schedule here. Did you ever post the Canada schedule? No. Oh. Wait, I was supposed to do that. Yeah. Well, we're going to jump back here really quick. Let's see here. I think, does this work? Oh, that's not this one. There we go. That's schedule for Canada. So sorry for everybody who's still watching that I did not post that one at all. So that is.
Well, you went over it.
Yeah, we went over it. So
they should have wrote it down.
Yep, yeah. That is the schedule for the new Ontario series.
That's pretty cool.
And then I will go back to the main camera here.
It's 2 lakes. Lake St. Clair.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Lake St. Clair heavy.
This is the Lake St. Clair Championship.
And then I've got, so this is the Alpena Series. None of the guys could join us tonight, so I'm just going to go ahead and post that out there. So their series is starting on April 12th, and then they're going every other week, just like all the Michigan series here. So they're starting out on Winya, Besser, then they're going to go to Long, Grass Lake. This one I think is Hubar, 4 Mile, Fletcher's Pond, which we talked about earlier, Emma, Thunder Bay, and then one of my favorites was the Tomahawk Creek Landing. So, and if you haven't fished the Tomahawk Creek one, that one is awesome.
Oh.
And then screwed it up again. There we go. There's a graphic for that one. So, yeah, if you're ever up fishing Fletcher's or any in that area, I fished the Tomahawk Creek this last year, and a lot of standing timber. It's just a cool lake, fun lake to fish. So, if you're ever up that way, that is a fun one to fish. So, they couldn't join us tonight, but that is the Alpena division, so I wanted to get that out of the way and make sure we release that, and that should be all of our league series except for a couple new ones that we may have coming up. We potentially have a league series starting down in St. Louis, so we'll see where we go from there. All right, so to get back to it, I have just a couple questions. We'll just kind of run around the table. So first one is fishing personalities, and basically the question is, what type of public fishing personality has influenced you the most in your, what's that person that you either grew up watching or whatever. So I'll start because I obviously had a chance to think about these. So mine would actually be probably the ones influencing me most would be Greg Blanchard, who is a kayak YouTube fisherman type of personality. Yep. I've done the Bass University, and obviously I've watched all the big pros fish, but I feel like Greg just is one of us, and I feel like, I think he's got 50 or 60,000 YouTube subscribers or whatever, and goes around doing that now, but I feel like that's kind of mine that I consistently have always just watched and learned from, and obviously he's fishing quite a bit different waters than us, but the way he approaches everything, and I feel like that's probably one would be mine. So if anybody else is ready.
Larry Nixon's probably mine.
Okay.
When I was younger, and I just grew up watching all of his DVDs and whatnot, and then probably G-Man now.
Yep.
I like about everything he stands for and all the stuff he puts out hunting and fishing.
Nice.
I didn't grow up fishing. I've just started fishing recently, the last number of years. Hence the okayest.
We're great on it.
So, but I've spent a lot of time watching Fluke Master. I think he does a great job, and now that he's doing more kayak stuff, I enjoy watching that. And then Tactical Bassin is something. It was really my go-to at the beginning.
Culbertson just mentioned tactical bassing in that
Yeah.
comment.
I just think that the way they break down the baits and how they're using them, what equipment they're using, and tricks about it, I think is very helpful. So it's those two for me that I really, those are my two go-to that I watch.
Who's next?
I grew up watching Mike Iaconelli. He was always fun to watch because he just, the personality, the passion that he has for fishing. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative, but there was passion no matter what was going on.
Thing that surprised me about him is that, like, when I first got into it and I saw him and acting all crazy, I'm like, this guy's just an asshole. Like, he just drove me nuts.
Right.
But then, like, watching him actually talk and present, like, I'm like, this guy's a genius. Like, that whole, like, just crazy on-screen personality to where he is then presenting and teaching you something. Like, he's just a really good educator.
Well, he's got a YouTube channel as well,
Yep.
And he's just started doing kayak fishing. He's been doing some tournaments as well. He's sponsored by Hobie. He's got his own
he's got his own Hobie kayak now.
So yeah, I grew up kind of watching him, and then as far as getting into tournaments and getting more competitive, the tactical bassing, and watching Jacob Wheeler. I mean, right now he's, in my opinion, the #1 fisherman in the world. For right now, at least.
Yep.
And he does a lot of really good videos teaching different tactics and going through how he runs through tournaments.
Tim DeSmit says Jimmy Houston in the 80s on VHS.
Yes.
How old are you, Tim?
I remember watching Jimmy Houston. Jimmy Houston was out when you were younger. What are you talking about?
All right, Chad.
So, I started getting into kayak fishing 3 years ago.
Yep.
I'm pretty new to it still, and just, relying on, tips and tricks and things like that would be tactical bassing. That's kind of who I've always gone to. And
They do a nice job.
but it's funny because, like, when I wanted to learn how to actually get into the community and, look up all these videos on kayak fishing and knowing that it was actually a thing of tournaments and things like that, I actually found Bogdan on YouTube.
Okay. Yep.
So Bogdan was actually,
Nice.
somebody I kind of looked up to, and, with all around, he's a great fisherman, nice guy, and he knows his stuff, out in the water. So, and he puts out great content. So, and him and Greg. So, but, and then it turned out to be, getting into the community and meeting him, and he's been not only just, he's been a great friend too, learning from him. And so
I think that's cool that even like if you're producing content, you're not maybe have 50,000 followers, but that you're still affecting somebody with what you're doing.
Right.
that's how it pretty much started. So
I'm switching over all of mine to A2 Angler. Is the one that I'm gonna just watch exclusively.
That guy's the worst.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Him and his positive attitude pisses me off. All right, so we're gonna try to get done here by 10 o'clock. So we'll speed up this next one. And if you don't want to get into it, or just say. But the next one would basically be personal contact. So who in your life, was that and yours almost kind of applied a little bit to both, or was somebody that was public, but then you got to know. So mine would definitely be my dad. I mean, I think grew up fishing. He took me out fishing, from when I was a little kid and didn't even want to go to, obviously we still go fishing today. I'm thankful for that. So that would definitely be mine. Would be my dad who took me out. Started me fishing young.
So my dad took us out. We'd rent cottages and we'd go out in the little aluminum boat and put worms on hooks and pretended we knew what we were doing, and did that for a couple years when we were young. But I didn't. What got me into fishing was my brother Dan bought me a rod and reel combo for a birthday, and I think he wanted somebody to fish with him. Mm-hmm. So my parents have a place on Black Lake up near Sheboygan, and we'd take their big, kind of touring kayaks out into the lake in the morning and fish for a little while. And I think just the first time you catch a decent fish up there, you get hooked on it. And I think without his influence of getting me that combo and getting me into it, I would never have gotten into it. Nice. I don't see why I would have. It was just something to do with him, and it's turned into a passion.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Who's next?
I mean, I could say a little bit more. Honestly, you know, finding content online on YouTube and things like that was bogged in. But one of the first people I met in the community was Blair. I mean, he pretty much showed me out on Lake St. Clair how to fish for these smallmouth, and now it's a big passion of mine. You know, it's turned into something even bigger, and yeah, I'd have to say Blair. You know, I've always shore fished, but it's never been like nothing bigger than that in the past. You know, I never was in boat tournaments or never even fished on a boat before like that, you know, a bass boat or anything. It was just, let's go grab a couple rods, shore fish, go have some fun. Then when I found out about kayak fishing, it was kind of like, that was kind of like the difference. So.
Sure, nice.
Yeah.
Definitely my dad probably got me started on it, but basically he just kind of gave me the opportunity to fish, and I just immediately was hooked on it.
Yeah.
Whenever we wanted to go out, or whenever he took the boat out, I had to have a rod.
Yep.
We were anywhere near a lake, we were taking the boat, we were going out on that.
Nice.
But then as far as getting into this community, I was with my buddy Steve Engel.
Yep.
And we went out on Reed's Lake, and obviously we ran into Heath Atwell out there.
Uh-oh.
And he was like, yeah, we've got these
You didn't
tournaments."
fish anymore because he talked the rest of the night.
Told us all about how Reed's Lake is the best lake in the world.
That was the battle of the 10-foot
That's fun.
kayaks.
Yep, and I
or
actually
whatever.
ended up borrowing his 10-foot kayak
Okay.
after I ran out of JB Weld for my kayak. But he told us about the Wednesday night events a couple years ago. I came out to one, and yeah, was just immediately hooked.
All right.
Same, dad, grandpa,
Yep.
got me fishing. Bass fishing, probably ESPN, Kevin, bass. Those three probably play the biggest part in actual tournament fishing. But fishing, dad and grandpa.
So my third question I'm going to skip because we're running out of time, and I realize it's a terrible question. It was basically, what did you buy for Black Friday for fishing? But that's just going to get us all in trouble.
Nothing.
So no purchases made.
I bought zero things.
No purchases.
I purchased all
I
this.
sold a lot of things on Black Friday. I didn't buy anything.
I purchased all this expensive jewelry, but a bunch of fishing poles showed up.
So my last cast of the night. You can only have one type of jig. Can't be bladed or named Ned. What is it? What are you taking with you? So I'll start. I had a chance to think this one over because I wrote them. Mine would be, I think, a round ball jig, just because of its, I mean, it's not great at necessarily anything, but just its flexibility to do anything with it. You can flip it, you can toss it, you can swim it. So I started fishing those a couple years ago, and I feel like I would just kind of keep one with me and tie it on a lot of times, just because it's good in a lot of different situations. So
I'm gonna say an arky jig, an arky head jig. It's not, it's not gonna be the heaviest. It's not gonna be, but I think it does a lot of things suitably well. And I think there's just a lot of ways you can use it. And that's my opinion.
who's next?
We're gonna make you go last, the expert opinion last, right?
I don't know if it's an expert opinion.
Matt?
So last year, believe it or not, I just started getting into jigs. So I'm still kind of experiencing, what I like and what works for me and whatnot. But I'd have to say so far a football head.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of just dragging and going.
Sure.
So deep water jigs. So.
We'll save our expert for last. So Matt, you're next. Sorry.
For me, probably probably like a structure round ball jig that is set up that can get in and out of structure well, but also skips.
Okay.
I love skipping docks.
Yep.
Nice.
I remember you fished that round ball, I think, for that Kamyati tournament that we did a couple years ago, and did well off that one. All right, our expert opinion.
What size round ball head are you using?
Like a 3/8.
What about you? What size?
Half-inch.
What about you?
I'm going to a little bit smaller.
Okay.
So the
Half ounce.
3/8.
3/8. Weak. Half ounce flipping jig is what I'm gonna take. That one right there, that Doc Monkey. I'd take that. I'd take that jig right there before I took any other jig on the market. If I only could pick one.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
You only pick one.
Only pick one.
That's all you got.
That's the one. That's the one I'm going with. Just because it can do everything, right?
Yep.
My favorite jig to fish is a football jig, but if I only can do one, it's
Yep.
gonna be that one.
Okay. Yeah. That's for me. The round ball. I just feel like it's versatile. So.
Absolutely, it's a great answer. Gerald Swindle say the same thing. If you ask him.
Yep. His ball and out
Say
jigs. I've used some
football.
of those. So.
He would say football.
No, you'd say round ball.
Round ball? Okay.
That's like
Black or brown.
It's like basically all he throws, isn't it? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, well, he came up with his ball and out jig or whatever,
black
which that actually got me into the round ball a little bit, and then I went out and started getting ones that I felt were way better quality for the money. But
Before he went to Booyah back in the day,
I remember.
I sent him some round ball jigs. We were thinking about trying to get him right back when I was an idiot, you know. And Booyah gave him $100,000, and I was like,
I'll give you 20 jigs.
but he loves his round ball.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, and that dude can just, you got $100,000. I mean, I'm sure he made Booyah $100,000 first week, you know.
oh yeah,
That
yep.
dude can sell product, you know.
Oh yeah, well, that's what I mean. I watched some of his stuff when he was talking about how to fish it, and then of course selling his jigs.
Yeah.
And so he
Yeah,
does a good
absolutely.
job. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for tonight. We're 1 minute over. So Chad, thanks for making the drive out. Appreciate it. And
Thanks for having me.
thanks for coming, Matt. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Steve, we needed a seat filled, so
All right.
you showed up.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Okay, job.
This fuck.
We have a mutual friend named Cody, and become one of my best friends. And basically, I always just talk crap to this guy every time, just constant bullshit. And he was always like super nice. And the one time, we're texting, I'm just talking trash in the text, and he's being all nice and stuff like that. And as soon as I get out and step out of my car and stuff like that, he's like, "You're a freaking dick." And I'm like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" I'm like, "You were super nice on the thing." He's like, "Yeah, my wife will see that." Fair enough.
Fair enough.
All right, guys. Dan, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me. It was a pleasure.
2kjigs.com. You saw everything. A little testimony of myself is that I love your guys' bladed jigs.
Yep.
I started fishing those, I believe, in 2020. I ordered.
Yeah, he fishes a submission.
Yep.
Bluegill pattern is his favorite, so don't let him be lying to you. I see everything that comes out.
Well, actually, it was funny because we were joking about before the show. I said I put in a spreadsheet all the tournaments I fish because I have all that data and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I'm like, I do great on lakes with a ton of small fish for whatever reason. I happen to catch bigger small fish, but I tried out those, and I think I won 3 big basses in like 6 or 7 tournaments. Out of 6 or 7 tournaments in a row, I won 3 of the big bass, and it was all throwing that bladed jig.
Now figure out this. You'll win some real money.
Fair enough.
That's the deal right there.
Let me see that when we get a chance.
Your half ounce flipping, the one that you take with you.
Yeah. That's the money maker.
All right, well, you heard it here. 2kjigs.com, half ounce flipping jig. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been fun. We will not see you next week, most likely. So that's not what I say, but we're going to be off next week, I believe. We're kind of getting everything re-geared. We got a lot of awesome stuff coming to you guys. App for Apple TV, Roku, Prime, all that stuff coming, plus daily videos and everything starting in February. So over the next couple months, you're going to see World Series of Fishing. And then in February, we'll have a bunch of new stuff coming to you. So thanks for joining us, and we will see you. Have a great holidays. Merry Christmas, and we will see you in the new year. So,
Pack the yak, guys.
yep. We did.